sings, I am Lies, and I use she, her.
And I am Scandal, and I use they, them.
And let's play a game together.
Yeah, everybody.
Right.
Welcome back to the playthrough where we are trying to get to the thingo we will one day, I swear.
So, if anybody was watching this as we were producing it, we did have a slight hiatus because life happens, but we are back again, and here we go.
Yes, here we go. We stay like that for a good few moments, and then Nyarg slowly withdraws his tentacles. Taking that as a signal, I disentangle myself from his tendrils and step back. After that display of vulnerability, Nyarg seems uncharacteristically awkward, fidgeting with the tiny portion of salt still out on the counter.
I still imagine that sort of like tentacle, like, sort of gently, like that gesture of scratching the back of the head thing.
It's up to me to break the silence. So I guess you only need to eat that much salt today? Nyarg sighs, rubbing a tendril against a spot between the two of his mouths.
Actually, that's this.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
I meant to eat this much to keep myself at peak condition. But with all the excitement and energy in the air, I'm unspeakably full. I feel like I might be sick if I had to eat this, so I'd been stalling when you showed up.
Aww.
In some ways, inviting you in was just an excuse to stall some more. I can't help but laugh. It's such an innocently childish action that it seems at odds with Nyarg's mature, calm demeanor. Nyarg huffs as if embarrassed, wrapping the salt back up in its paper packet. Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I just didn't expect it from you.
I like that bit where it's just like, normally you are 900% professional, and having just a I don't wanna moment is really charming. Which reminds me of another moment.
Right? But I'm really glad it happened. I wouldn't have gotten to know you better like this otherwise. So I'm happy to have been your excuse. Nyarg nods. The touch of warmer color in his flesh suggests he's also happy with that arrangement.
I love the fact that he can blush. Like, not enough people have their completely inhuman creatures blush. And just have regular, like, expressive behaviors. It's like, this is a floating orb of doom. Yeah, but does it get, like, butterflies in its tummy?
Right? Like, what do horrors look like when they're, you know, ooh-woo?
Yeah, exactly. Gets little cute ooh-woo eyes.
Ooh-woo.
Okay, if you haven't been to our Tumblr blog, and it's a few posts about,
God.
but I did a really dumb and cute edit of Nyarg just having adorable, like, anime smiley faces. And blushing everywhere.
God, it was so funny.
And it's really one of those slapdash, quickly done things, but I love it. So
I was proud of you.
It's really good. Anyway, now then.
Stepping out from around the counter, Nyarg heads towards the window. I put down the bee I'd been holding, then followed him.
I love that they hugged around a bee. It
certainly doesn't look like the commotion outside is going to die down anytime soon.
Perhaps you should go out the back door. No.
He's right. If anything, the crowd's grown even larger. Someone is jostled by the crowd and stumbles into the window, and he at least shoots us an apologetic glance through the gap in the curtain before returning his attention to whatever's captivated the crowd.
I suppose you could just try to run out past them. You're a quick runner. Are you on a tight schedule today?
Oh, to be honest, I have today off, and I don't have any plans.
Puts little, like your index fingers together.
I just wanted to drop by and see how you were doing.
I see. That's very sweet of you.
Nyarg reaches out a tentacle to pat me on the back.
Then maybe it would be best for us to spend the day quietly, especially if we don't have any plans for the eclipse.
What were you planning on doing today, before I got here?
Clean the bee cages,
mostly, and groom some of them, if I had the time.
It should be possessive, belonging to the bees.
On the bees.
They need to be not multiple.
Or just clean the bee cages, because that also works.
It does work, but I think he would totally be like, they belong to the bees.
Uh-huh. I can help if you'd like.
So eager to work, even on your day off.
One mouth twists into a lopsided grin, another one burying its teeth in a rumbling laugh.
Your diligence always astounds me.
Well, I figure as long as I'm here, I should do something.
I should do something.
And yesterday was fun. I don't mind the work, and if it's helpful to you, I want to do it.
If you insist. Come on.
Honestly, though, I have to say I love relationships where people can work together on domestic or menial tasks, because if you can be a team, since in general, in society, especially in like a capitalistic society, being a team is really important to get through hardships. Like, you cannot do things like easily and effectively on your own. You need help, and so being a good, successful team, whether it's like we do the ooh-woos really well together, or we just both like to snuggle the same, or we're really into the same food, but like I can do the necessary tasks of my life together with you, is really valuable.
I am good at being partners.
Let's start with cleaning the cages.
Cleaning the cages ends up taking up the entirety of the morning and a good portion of the afternoon. Enough that Niarg decides to amend that store in... Sign. Not the store in the window. The sign in the window saying he's closed today.
I was to say, that one is...
It's Eclipse Day, after all. No need to feel bad about taking the day off. Once we're done cleaning, store's air feels bitingly fresh. The sharp scent of cleaning herbs stinging into the nose with each inhale.
One of the things that I find funny is both of them have trouble taking a day off, and since there's no one to tell Niarg you need to take a day off, he's like, I'll do all of these necessary things and just, open a little late. And then, maybe I'll hang out with my friend.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's soon tempered by the soothing aroma of bee pheromones and honey as Niarg moves onto grooming several bees whose fur coats are growing unruly. The bees relax beneath the steady snip-snip of Niarg's shears, drooling honey onto the grooming mat.
What I love about this as well is that he's got a full gamut of bee care skills. Like, a lot of people who own animals
They do one thing, maybe.
Largely, like, if they're any kind of pets rather than a working animal, and a lot of people also don't know a lot about their working animals either, and they have, vets and groomers and farriers and whatever it is to do the rest of the work. And, in this case, it's really neat because so many people cannot groom their dogs. And he can groom his bees, and I just find that deeply charming and thoughtful.
Yes, absolutely.
Going, since bees are expensive and uncommon, and as far as I can tell, he is the only bee shop in town, it makes sense that he would need those specialty skills because no one else around would have them.
Right.
But it's just also, like, it's very thoughtful to put that in there.
I also just like it because it's a full experience. It really is just like, these are not only, quote, my product.
Yes.
Yeah, I hate referring to animals like that. Because they are, bought and sold kind of thing. But it's just like, they are also basically, like, I care for them. Like, I have my own bees. I would take care of them. I'm going to take care of you. And also, him being the authority would make sense, especially if he is really the only beekeeper, as it were, in town.
I say, and one of the things that I also really like about including this scene is that it's a priority for him to take good care of all of them before they're sold. Yeah. So there's been so many places, and obviously this isn't a pet store. No. But even where you just have animals that are for sale, and they're kind of sort of doing the bare minimum because the animal's just there to get sold out.
You know what? Actually, it honestly reminds me of farmers. So farmers are far more likely to actually have either people come in who will care for their animals because, like, some farmers, like, they have basic skills. Like, not all farmers are like, oh, I just am completely incapable, like, of taking care of my cows or whatever. There's many of them that actually pick up supplemental skills because sometimes your farrier isn't available. You've always just learned how to do it because that's what you've done.
Yeah, you've been around for so many cow births that you really know how to do whatever the vet does. For the most part.
Exactly. Like, sometimes that's the thing, and sometimes you invite, someone else in. But it really is, like, that's actually, like, what it really reminds me of. And for some, well, it's probably because, okay, so cows are sheep. honestly, are more of, like, less of a pet in the way...
They're very much a product animal.
More of a product. And you're going to take care, quote, of your product apparently better than most people will actually take care of their pets. Which is not to say that people don't take care of their pets, but there's a lot less they do at home. Like, they usually have to take them out, especially here in the US. There's a lot of people who will go to a groomer. They will go to, various places to have them cared for rather than them be in the house and they know how to take care of them for at least some basic needs. Because obviously there's plenty of other things that, like, you can't do that your vet can do, but, you know.
Anyway. Grooming mat.
Grooming mat. And I also love that he has a grooming mat. I don't know, it's just really charming.
Yeah, the fact that he, again, has all the equipment to basically fully care for them, I very much enjoy.
I mostly watch, as this work requires training and finesse that I don't have.
Gives it a poodle cut.
Bees with various haircuts. Honestly, that would be so cute. Like, it'd be hilarious and cute.
Does a couple of them with, like, like fades or, like, buzzed in designs.
It'd be so much fun. It's wonderfully relaxing. Time goes by quickly, and before I even realize it, it's nearing the time of the eclipse. Niarg has to point it out to me.
It's grown awfully noisy outside.
Oh, you're right.
Oops.
And those voices in the background. I pull the curtains back just enough to take a quick peek outside. The crowd outside the blood sample store has dispersed, at least, but the streets are noisier than ever. People mill about, holding hands and tugging each other along, pointing off in different directions. I need to press my ear against the glass to understand what's going on. Oh, the eclipse is soon. I think everyone's trying to find good places to watch it.
I see.
I let the curtain drop as I look back down. At the back in the back of my mind. Yeah, probably. I hope nobody saw it. I wouldn't want anyone to notice the store is occupied and barge in asking to be let up onto the roof for a good view. If you don't have any other plans for the eclipse.
Niarg is so thoughtful in that way, but also shy of going I'm going to check in on your consent over and over again, and also your interest.
That is though also very much I'm really trying to go slowly because I think again that thing of where Vil has observed Niarg is not used to sharing things.
Also, one of the things that I just love about the way he does that sort of thing, he's very formal, but it's that affectionate formal. It reminds me so much of a Jane Austen character. Let's just put him in a little top hat and a starched collar, and he's Jane Austen monster, okay?
Yes.
Would you like to watch it with me? I'm gonna give him a British accent.
Of course! Niarg might have expected me to hesitate from the way he worded it, but it's an easy answer for me to give. I'd love to watch it with you. Should we head up to the roof?
That's so cute.
Wait just a moment. Niarg wants to prepare a few things first. A small container of salt biscuits and another of tea. Because it wouldn't hurt to enjoy ourselves during this special occasion, he says. And once the preparations are made, we head up the ladder that leads to the roof of the store. Because it's very, very pretty. The view from the roof is nice. It is actually very nice. And there are your sons. They're all coming together.
For me, though, I'm I wish there weren't so many clouds. It's beautiful and it's really nice. But, an eclipse with a bunch of clouds you don't see as well.
No.
You're no.
I think, honestly, it's also so interesting because, so before this, actually, I think around the time... No, we did actually see an eclipse before this, we played this game, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I just think it's so fascinating, because I remember that as well. People are oh god, I hope it's not cloudy. There's so much conversation where I'm I've never been super engaged in talk about the weather until that moment. Everybody's
there was one time where there was a lunar eclipse as well, and everybody's just it's gonna be cloudy where we are. No!
Yeah.
And everyone's did you see it? And you're no, it was cloudy over my town. Thanks.
But my friend took some amazing fucking pictures of that lunar eclipse. It was wild.
So one of my relatives, she had a friend with a telescope, and he was out in the middle of the freezing cold night with a bunch of friends, and we all bundled up like crazy. He, we could all see it through the telescope because he had it lined up, and then I was hang on, I bet I could just take a picture. And I just lined up the camera on the phone with the eye of the telescope.
There was a couple different cameras, actually, that she did this with, and it was actually really cool, because you could see the quality difference between also the different phones.
But it was very fun, because I was using the eye of the telescope with the eye of the
so
camera.
difficult!
It was.
We were like, I tried doing it on mine, and I was so bad at it. My friend was like, I'm like, you have to do it, I am so unskilled.
Well, and because it was, it was a very short period of, like, the height of eclipse and stuff like that. And so it was like, and also, like, it's moving across the sky, so you have to gently adjust the telescope, too.
Constantly.
So it was totally a thing, and it was really funny, because the guy was like, that's never gonna work. And then I got one picture, he's like, could you do it with my phone, too?
It was gorgeous. God, it was so pretty. I was just like, I feel like I'm in a planetarium. And it's so cool looking.
If I can dig one of those up, maybe we should shove it up on the Instagram or the Twitter.
Yeah, we can probably do that.
I can't keep those straight. At any rate, look at the gorgeous eclipse, and you can see that's coming about, and you get to see all the suns starting to come together.
All right, the view from the roof is nice. There are higher up buildings around, of course, as well as ones with tall spires. The view from those high places must be fabulous, I imagine. But for the two of us, the roof of Niarg's store is perfect. There are empty crates here and there, formerly used to store old supplies and broken containers, and Niarg drags a few closer to the edge so we can take a seat. And we share the tea and biscuits. Are you excited, Niarg?
Somewhat. But not as much as most people, I imagine.
He's like, I am so full. I am literally not as excited as you. I am
stuffed.
Probably not. I laugh as I take a sip of my tea. Around us, people are starting to bustle onto the rooftops, others leaning out their windows to get good looks at the sky. Some whoop and shout in excitement, others popping open expensive bottles of honeyed liquor. All around us, people exude excitement and anticipation.
I imagine Niarg brings up the tea and the biscuits. I know what I meant. I say, and
I was like, wow, TV.
The tea and the biscuits. I was gonna say tea for Vil, and then I just ran it together.
It's okay, it happens.
I say, but and then it's like, we'll share this and enjoy ourselves. And he just carefully sips a tiny bit of tea and nothing else.
Nothing.
He's so stuffed.
I'm gonna die.
That sort of thing where, like, after you've had a gigantic meal and you're way too freaking full, and then you're just like, if I could get something else in there to just calm everything down a little bit, I might be okay.
Right. This isn't too much for you, is it?
Hmm?
The atmosphere,
I love Phil trying to engage immediately, going, there's people feeling things all around here, like positive things.
They're really excited! Niarg seems to get what I mean after a few moments, and his mouths break into grins. One tentacle reaches forward to brush the hair from my face and pat me on the shoulder.
I'm perfectly fine. Thanks for asking. No need to worry about me. Especially now that it's begun.
The tentacle on my shoulder shifts up, past my cheek, to point towards the sky. And we raise our gazes up past the horizon, and we see the suns begin to collide.
And you actually get to watch the eclipse. It's so cool.
The light is almost blinding when the sun's shapes begin to overlap, their glows combining into something truly radiant. The warmth that washes over us seems to magnify twofold, threefold. More than one person below on the streets shouts in delight, followed by murmurs of amazement. I scoot over on my crate, thoughtlessly pulling myself closer to Niarg, and he drapes a tentacle over my shoulder. Even before the moon begins to eat away at the sun's shapes, something deep within us screams that this is a special moment, that something monumental is about to begin, and we do not want to be alone during it. My fingers wrap around the tip of Niarg's tentacle, squeezing around its warm, fleshy tip.
Just flesh.
But we remain silent as the skies begin to darken. Look at that! God, good job, Hal. Fuck, it looks so cool.
It's beautiful.
It's always so good. The change is immediate. As soon as the moon's outline begins carving into the sun's glow, the skies lose that magnificent luster. The awed murmur washes through the crowd on the streets, and even those sitting on the rooftops or leaning out of windows try to get a closer look. The light bouncing off the clouds is also distorted, throwing crescent-shaped shadows on the ground.
I've seen that before, and it sounds fake.
It
like,
really
it
does, but it is
fake,
not.
But it's really cool. Like, I've seen the leaves all get cut into crescents on a tree.
Yeah, my friend and I was so startled at the experience, I forgot to take a picture, honestly. I actually had to go on the internet, and there was somebody locally who had a picture, and I just kind of gave that and was like, here's my experience. But I was like, it was the weirdest thing to look at, you know? I inadvertently grip a little tighter at Niarg's tentacle, watching as the moon continues its march across the sky, uncaring as to what lies in its path. The suns, meanwhile, have almost completely overlapped with each other, cowering in unison behind the moon.
So cool that it's a full eclipse of all of your astral bodies.
It's really neat, actually. Bit by bit, they vanish.
Yes.
Just gorgeous, Hal.
So freaking
pretty.
And I love the little flare. It's just also how everything just turns green because it's being filtered. I do wonder, in this case, it doesn't matter what the moon's made out of that sort of creates that experience or what their atmosphere is like, but it's just super fun.
I honestly always liked the fact that the world was basically sort of bathed in green. For some reason, it just always entertained me. I just love it a lot.
I sort of enjoy it in the sense that specifically that there's really no green on this earth. Like, you don't have any green grass or green plants. And so it's a fun contrast.
An incredible heaviness bears down upon us as soon as the moon completely masks the suns. A strange pressure, like an invisible hand reaching down from the skies, aiming to crush us. Every sound feels magnified, and I'm startled when a small child shouts from the streets, followed immediately by a parent trying to shush them. Talking feels taboo. Moving feels taboo. Even looking away feels like it should not be permitted. It feels like the world itself is telling us this is a moment we must not take for granted. We are in the presence of something monumental. I can feel Niarg's core shift slightly with every breath, but neither of us is a word.
There we go. Look at this. It is a great view,
it's
honestly.
So pretty.
Freaking beautiful.
I've just, this black hole of everything. It just, it's so cool looking. And though I don't dare drag my eyes down from the sky, not while the moon still looms above us, ringed only by the thinnest circle of sunlight, I can see the rest of the cityscape out of the periphery of my vision. The various shapes and structures around us are lit eerily, thin streaks of light throwing their edges into sharp contrast against their shadowy sides. For one instant, the city feels like a completely foreign place, like a place I should not be. A deep, rasping exhale leaves my lungs, catching me by surprise. I must have been holding my breath.
I was saying, in this moment, they become a teen romance protagonist. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding.
It's difficult even breathing during this eclipse. Then the spell breaks. Gorgeous, Hal. Good job.
So good.
So pretty! The eclipse's arresting hold on us dissipates as quickly as it started. The suns struggle past the moon's shadow, bathing us in that familiar light once more. Bit by bit, the skies light up once more. Stray whoops and hollers begin to ring out from all around us, as if the people are ecstatic to realize they've survived something deadly. I give a long, slow exhale once more, trying to calm my own pounding heart. When I pull my hand away from Niarg's tentacle, I realize I must have been subconsciously gripping it with all my strength. The tip is flushed, and my fingers have left marks. Oh, sorry!
Yes. Don't worry about it. I do love that statement, though, of not only is the eclipse, like, profound and striking, but also how it's gripping, but there's, like, a definite, like, energetic change. And this feel of going, not only is this deeply profound, but it's something that could actually be dangerous.
Yes.
And then, you know, you look at it and you're like, it's like a giant cat eye observing a world of flesh. You know? And it's just
So the thing is like, my friend and I have talked about it before, but I still really like a neat idea that we had, actually, before we encountered this game. But basically a concept surrounding, actually, the moon coming and going away was basically that the moon was actually a giant creature in the sky, basically, and when it disappeared, it meant that it was coming down to eat everyone. So you had this culture that basically developed underground, and I thought that was really neat. And like, you'd go up on the surface for what you needed, but you really kept track of basically the lunar cycle, because, you know, once it hit a certain point, the thing in the sky was hungry. And so it came back down.
Rake the surface of the planet.
So it looked like it was a dead world, basically, on the outside, and I imagined it grew pretty extensively, pretty quickly.
I say the thing was, is we were talking about like ecosystem and potentials, things like that, and like, yes, all of the bigger, you know, slower growing things lived underground but could come up to do things.
Right.
But all of your plants that were on the surface, basically, after they were cycled by the moon's, meal, let's call it. Let's say there was an experience of like the ones that would regrow very quickly, because they only had, you know, the 28-day cycle or whatever it was to be able to flower and reproduce and then go dormant again. Yeah. And so that, and also that is the sort of thing that also dictates the behavior of many of your people that do harvest and collect things from up above. And at the same time, it's like you keep having this, like, the moon can't consume the entire planet. So it moves from place to place. And so you have some things that can go, longer with older growth and stuff, but you don't know where it's going to show up.
Nope, not at all.
Anyway.
Niarg addresses it before I can apologize.
I would have done the same. The eclipse really is something.
We're both still a little quiet as we clean up the remnants of our snacks. Even once the cityscape around us is lit up like usual once more, the streets below us busy from the crowds of people steadily dispersing, we both find our thoughts lingering with that eclipse. It would have had that effect on everyone, I'm sure. Even though I don't truly believe in the superstition that the eclipse is the best day for making big decisions, I'm starting to understand why people might hold to that belief. And if someone were to ask me to make a big decision right at this moment, I feel like I might be able to say yes.
I appreciate that about Vil, because it's not like when Vil talks about a big decision, it means a change.
Yeah.
Because Vil's life is deeply consistent, and they love that. Like, one of the things they really enjoy about their job is that you work every single day, no matter what, and you have basically the same schedule and the same run. And their routine never really changes. They see the same people and do the same activities, and everything is, basically just deeply predictable.
Vil is very content with their choice of life. Even as they said, they were a little concerned about it going into it, but then they're like, you know what, this is fine.
One of the things that I really liked about the previous ending that they showed is that that we showed in this playthrough was really the experience of Vil going, I didn't change anything, and things changed around me, and that's okay. I really am still happy with my life.
Yeah, it was really good.
Vil?
I'd help him clean up the store and started heading towards the door when
I'd helped
him clean up the store and started heading towards the door when Niarg stops me. And started heading towards the door. Yes.
I know I've already asked a lot from you today, telling you the truth about myself and expecting you to still trust me, accepting your help in cleaning the store and tending to my work, and watching the eclipse together. But if you'd allow me, I'd like to make one more request of you.
Deeply formal, pulls off top hat, puts it against, like, front of self.
If it's something I can help with, I'd be happy to. My answer slips out without a second thought. Niarg, however, stalls for a moment. Two of his tentacles knead at each other, and I'm slow to realize it's a sign of nervousness. It's a slight edge to his voice that makes me realize Niarg's request this time won't be anything so trivial.
He's wringing his hands, but he doesn't have hands. It's just so good.
Your acceptance meant a lot to me, as did your companionship. I've come to truly value you during our time knowing each other. So, Vil, would you Would you be my partner?
My heart stops in my chest. I'm not sure if I expected this question or not. Seeing Niarg's reaction, I can't bring myself to hesitate. After all, he'd already spent years keeping a painful secret to himself, and I didn't want to make him wait any longer. And besides, in my heart, I already knew my answer.
Oh, and you can choose differently still.
You can.
And the thing is we haven't actually chosen all the choices in the story.
Because I was like, I can't say no to
I can't say no to you. Yes,
I was also like, I can't really say no to any of them. Like, genuinely, like, I still really like Yeastel. Breton's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I like Niarg.
I have not come back to mine for content to see what the other answer is, because all of them, it's just like, I'm not going to turn you down.
Yeah, I think like one time we went and we tried Yeastel and we were like, holy cow, we could say no to him. And then we're like, I don't want to say no to you guys. Like, it just, the writing was so good and the characters feel so well-rounded and developed and feel very consistent. And again, even though they're all different tonally, it's what also makes them really great. And you can comprehend and understand why Vil continues to either be around them or is friends with them.
Yeah, to be closer to them than many other people on their route and in their life.
Yeah, it's great. So we know we will, so we will.
I say, also, I do enjoy that if you, as a player, aren't feeling it, you can make the other option.
Yeah, you don't have to
we're
at all.
just gonna be friends, you know?
Right?
And it's neat.
Of course. Niarg, I will.
You will?
I nod decisively.
Mm-hmm. Enthusiasm. And then we get to see Vil really, like, straight out for the first time.
Niarg, the fact that you trusted me enough to tell me your secret means a lot to me. And this is what Vil looks like.
Uh-huh. And I had a lot of theories about Vil, and this wasn't what I expected, but I thought it was really neat.
I did too, actually. Like, it was a different experience, but also was fun.
I also very much enjoy, again, the fact that Vil essentially has this sort of oozing, pussing condition about their face, and it's not a problem with anybody. It's just a detail of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not something everyone else has. And describedly, the way that Vil takes care of it, it's not something that they like, that is just a biological feature. It's an experience going on with them.
Mm-hmm. I also really like the fact, I still think it's so derpy and so cute, that there's the little goofy heart in the eyes. It's so
Vil is just like,
cute.
I am experiencing the Doki Doki.
I have the Dokis. But you know what?
We're gonna have to wrap up right here and see what happens after Vil says yes
in
the next one.
Hey! So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. We really do appreciate having you here. Please make sure you go check out Pyreside Waltz if you have not done so for the demo.
Yes.
The links are in the description. Also, Hal and Miru, the main artist and main writer,
the creators, the entire studio,
Ink Trashing Studio. They are or InkEthic. Oh my god.
InkEthic.
Yeah, InkEthic, because Ink Trashing is specifically Miru's name on Twitter.
Yes,
oh my god, I'm such a dork.
So it's half of each their name.
It's half of each their name. They made a ship name.
No,
I'm kidding.
Sometimes your professional name is the same as the ship name.
Yeah, kind of. But, thank you very much again. Please go check out their stuff. They're fantastic people. We really appreciate their work. And we hope to see you here, which might be the conclusion.
I think we might get through all of it in the next one, but we'll just see.
We'll find out. But yeah, thank you so much for sharing, liking, commenting, subscribing. It's really nice to see you guys around here enjoying the series as much as we have. Like I said, please go check out Pyreside Waltz. They work so hard.
So hard.
I still haven't seen it, and I want you all to enjoy. But yeah, I have been Scandal.
And I have been Lies. And it was great playing with you. Bye!